Hello and welcome to the show. We are here today on Need for Speed Carbon. Yes, we're going to go for a little bit of a trip down memory lane, taking a look at this interesting game. Now this is, for me, I guess one of the Need for Speeds I am a bit more nostalgic for. It was one of the first games I had on the Xbox 360. This and PGR 3, I think, were the two games I got when I got the console. So I do remember playing through this one. It's actually not held up too terribly. I mean, you can do some horrific things to cars, that much is for sure. And I have been streaming a little bit on here, which is why we have some beautifully modified cars. I'm going to go with that. Yes, I believe that is the correct turn, where we try and make sure nothing matches, nothing's lined up, if at all possible. The roof scoop's got... Well, the roof scoop's got 3 scoops on top of... You've got 4 roof scoops going on there, don't ask. And you could put it off-centre because of auto-sculpt, so we have. We've got a split wing at the back that's strange. A massive diffuser. The car's very low. We've got humongous exhaust out the side of the Aston Martin. I mean, this isn't even the worst thing we've made. The Clio's pretty bad. The Clio's pretty bonkers as well. More vents is more good as ever. On the bonnet, we've got sticky outy bits on the splitter. We've got sticky outy bits on the rear and side skirts and whatnot. And what was the other? Oh, the RX-8, of course, the car that we started the game with all manner of amazing things on it. This is the power of auto-sculpt. You can make cars that don't look this bad if you want to. However, when streaming we do this, basically. I mean, still one race is looking like this. It's amazing. So, yeah, car customization. I think this is the first appearance of auto-sculpt in a Need for Speed games. I don't think Most Wanted did have auto-sculpt when that came out. It had some wacky stuff, but yeah, first appearance of auto-sculpt means you can make some rather interesting things. Shall we go for a little bit of a drive? Driving-wise on this, of course, it is very much an arcade game. Playing it now, the frame rate is all sorts of funny as well. It's questionable at best. Game volume is also unbelievably loud. I find this with some of the classic games we end up playing. Sometimes they're incredibly noisy, sometimes they're unbelievably quiet. Yeah, you'll be going along and everything will be fine, and then all of a sudden you'll go to about 3 frames a second. Oh, that's gears. There is a look back button somewhere. That's slow down time that I never used. That's nitro. What on earth is... Ah, there we go. The look back button. Sometimes looking back gets you a better frame rate and less mode. It's strange, really. We've got the largest amount of motion blur imaginable. Of course, you've got to... You're doing 120 miles an hour. You've got to show that. You've got to show that by having everything whizzing. Look at the lines coming off the back of the car. That is a surefire way to let everybody know. Oh, hello, people carrier. That the Aston Martin is going very quickly indeed. Oh, did I force it into a manual mode? Apparently I did. Huh. Oh, fuzzer around. If I do, I guess if you actually do the gears yourself enough times, the game goes, you know what, you can do it, and then it goes back to auto. Either way, I've been distractoed. So, yeah, driving around is fun enough, actually. It isn't the worst driving game in the world. Cars have a fair amount of grip in them. You can be a cheaty bugger if you want and mess around with a slow-mo to get around corners. In general, I won't bother. Have we got another car wanting to go on a race with us? I don't know. But yeah, there's quite a lot of grip going around these corners. You don't really slide around unless you're doing the drift events. You can't really do the, tap brake to drift sort of a thing. You can... There we go. You get a little bit if you really sort of hold it down and throw it into a corner. But you can drive it like a normal car if you wish, if you stay off of the grass and everything. Let's go to a race. Let's go and have a look. See what we've got. So the aim of the game is to take over all the different territories. You start off over here and you work your way through stuff, and we've worked our way through over here now. And you win races to take over the territories. Where shall we go? Speed trap race. Sure, why not? Jump to event. Thankfully, we've got a lovely fast travel system around here. You don't have to drive to places to unlock it. You can literally just jump to whatever event you want to do. Quite nice. quite nice. I like, I like that system. From some of the old Need for Speed Underground 2 that just had no fast travel system, meant you just had to drive ages, potentially, to get anywhere. Was a little bit of a pain in the arse. Look, we have some sensibly colour-coded cars, and then we have our team. So, you kind of work in teams on this one, and yes, you can modify your teammate's vehicle. So naturally, we are I think we are Team Woolaloo, but we have got the most gaudy of vehicles you could imagine to go around. Now, your teammates have special abilities, pretty much. Let's see if we can get some nitro to get us up the rankings a little bit. So you can have one that is like whizzes off in front of everybody to give you a slipstream boost to try and get through the pack. You have the one that I've got at the moment that is Rambot, as we have called him, whose job is to basically go take out the opposition, which is funny. Not the most effective thing in the world, but it is at least entertaining to have. And there's another one that finds you all of your little shortcuts. I am ballsing up my timing at the moment because I keep... I'm expecting the speed trap... Oh, we've pinged off the wall. It's all gone horribly wrong. I keep expecting the speed trap to be the actual circle bit, and it actually pings your speed a little bit beforehand. Yeah, this hasn't really gone to plan, has it? Neville, attack! You're attacking the wrong way. What are you doing, you muppet? You've attacked the car behind rather than going after the leaders. Oh, Rambot. I think it's safe to say Rambot is a complete failure today. He can be good. Occasionally Rambot is good. Yeah, we've lost this one. We've lost this one very much. That was not a great showing for us. I finished 4th. Shall we have another go at that race? Less getting lost, less crashing, more effective Rambot. So the AI teammates, you can actually be a little sneaky with these speed traps. If you get them to a point where they are quite a long way back, because they try to catch up to you, you can get to a point where they are basically uber catch-up, trying to get up to the player and pinging themselves through the pack. I'd love to know how some of these AIs are getting so much speed, considering I've worked my way up to 3rd, I've burnt all of my nitro, and we're sat in 5th here. Amazing stuff. My only hope here, really, of winning this one, I fear, is A, a little bit of Rambot help, and B, if I can get to the finish line first and make everyone have a big enough speed penalty. So if... Oh, I'm going to do exactly the same thing I did last time. Slightly better positioned. So when you cross the line, I think everyone loses a little bit of their average speed for finishing in the lower positions. So if we can be a long way ahead, we can use Rambot as a rear gunner, and there we go. We can maybe cheese a little bit of a Team Woolaloo cheesy victory. That is what you need sometimes. You just need that little extra bit of a cheesy victory. Now, Rambot, do your thing, slow down, take out some cars. It might be enough for us to get a victory. No, I don't think Rambot did a good enough job. Almost worked. 5 miles an hour off. So that's one of the speed trap ones. Kind of fun, occasionally infuriating. Oh, I don't want to do another speed trap. I want to just show different things. You know what? Screw it. You can have that territory for the sake of the current video. So yeah, you will get challenged for territories along the way. I don't want to do speed traps. Speed traps are a little bit boring. Drift events are weird. That's about the only way I can describe drift events. Let's go have a look. Drifting physics, not the game's strong point. Actual driving, actual racing, quite fun. Drifting a bit strange, especially on these. So one of the fun bits with Carbon is you have a lot of these kind of canyon races. You can have races, or you can have these drift events like we've got here, which you can very much fall off the side of the map if you get things wrong. Now, the kind of weird thing with these is the faster you go, the easier the cars are to control. You kind of just chuck the car in at max speed, and you kind of just hope that it'll stick. It's a little bit weird, and I can't say I'm a huge fan of it. I'm also apparently not very good with this. I can kind of work in the normal areas. We're actually not that far down in terms of points, but on the actual circuits can kind of get it to work. Here I'm a little bit worse. Oh, don't brush the wall. Oh no, I think we are scraping the wing along the wall. That was like a drift tap, right? That's bonus points. That's good. Now, I think we're going to lose the combo. I actually don't know if I want to lose. What's going on here? we've wobbled. You know what? Combo, just end so I can score some points and not have to worry anymore because I'm probably going to crash. Yeah, that was a safer thing to do here. It's weird handling, shall we say, going on. It just takes a lot of getting used to. Once you've got the hang of it, it's not too bad, but they just don't necessarily drive how you expect them to. Also, the points for your opponents only get added on, like, I guess, every so often. So you don't really know what you're aiming for half the time. I don't know whether I've had a good section or a bad section. I think they've just added on their points a little bit, so we had a better section. You could try and wiggle your way down the road. Oh, that was a terrible corner. There we go, get some sliding going on. And then underneath the bridge we go. Panic and bail. Panic and bail. You get away with a little rub on the wall. I don't really like this. Really don't like this. Take out the signs is fine. And taking out some more signs. There will be no signs left. The Need for Speed Council are going to need to do overtime here. Maybe we'll make a new minigame. Can I hit every sign on the drift course? I prefer that minigame. I like that, the idea of that minigame to me trying to wobble my way down a mountain. We did it. Actually, we did that one quite comfortably at the end. We got a very good run at the end. If you, as I said, if you can keep everything together, you can just rack up some massive points and everything's fine, really. But it's really easy to make little mistakes, and that's a real faff. Police are, of course, around the place. They can turn up, and you can have a police chase. Shall we go find one? This was always one of the fun aspects of Carbon. Now, my vehicle's still at a relatively low heat level. I mean, this is a silly idea as well. I shouldn't go chase after a police car. I shouldn't go looking for a chase, but we're going to anyway. Hello, officer. It would be a terrible shame if I was to bop into you or something, wouldn't it now? Be a terrible shame. Come here. Oh, you've brake-checked me. Where are you going? I feel like the FailRace Police Department were in effect. That is, without a shadow of a doubt, the worst police chase ever. Ever of all time. That was amazingly incompetent. I guess we can just sit here and do a bunch. There are little cooldown zones, you can see them on the map. Basically, now I'm in this cooldown phase, you go to one of those, the cooldown phase goes an awful lot quicker. You can just evade parked up somewhere here. Cost estate, 600. That was not quite what I was going for. Entertaining in a stupid way. Do we have any fun game modes? I say any fun game modes. Sure, you know what, let's go do a sprint race. Rather do a straight up sprint race than a speed trappy one. Police will occasionally interfere in the races. I believe sort of the more chases your car gets in, the higher the heat level that vehicle gets, the more likely police are to turn up and the more vicious the police vehicles get. So this still being only like a tier 1 vehicle, we're already getting the Crown Vics giving chase. We're not getting the well, I say Monaras, but they'd be pointing out GTOs because we're in America, but same difference. And like the proper police interceptors and that. Don't know if you get a Rhino in this game. Don't remember, and I've not got to the point where we can find that one out. But yeah, I mean the police chases are entertaining. When you have enough police cars giving chase, they're quite entertaining. I mean, they're a little bit silly, a little bit weird in places. You can use the crash breakers around, so you'll see from time to time. You can just use the crash brake or the pursuit breakers, whatever they're called. Crash breakers burnout, isn't it? You can use the pursuit enders, here we go, with like the red things, to drop buildings on your competition during a race. Or in that case, I think I dropped a building on Rambot. Might not have really affected much. Rambot, where are you? I need your Rambotting assistance. Now, Rambot, attack the Chrysler. Not Chrysler, that was the Mustang. Ignore me. There is a 300, actually, yeah, because we're in a higher ranking than that. I think the Rambot has undoubtedly murdered the Mustang. Unfortunately, Rambots murdered themselves as well. So you can cause chaos if you want. it's quite fun sometimes to cause chaos. Let's go for a little bit of nitro. We might as well burn some. It gradually refills over time. We might as well burn some now. I'm surprised you didn't make up time down the middle. Maybe they just went full on boost. There are shortcuts around. I'm so used to these days not looking for shortcuts. I'm just used to normal sort of circuit racing and not cutting circuits. That trying not to anyway. But I just don't ever look for shortcuts. I probably missed a bunch on this. Some are shortcuts. Some end up being more long cuts than anything else. But they are sort of alternative routes. And there are generally plenty of them per race. I can't say I've spotted any so far in this one. After mentioning it, I've been keeping an eye out. It's always an interesting one. Rambot's got up to third. Rambot, go take out second if you please. Don't take yourself out. Preferably we can get a 1-2 for Team Woolalur. You're doing a terrible job of taking out second as well, I should point out. But there we go. Or you can drop that big old crane thing if you hit the control booth for it. That will fall on top of everybody. It's quite fun. Quite fun for causing chaos. Quite fun for ending chases. And there we go. We will have our beautiful DB9 across the line and then get hit by Rambot. Rambot, where did you finish? Third. Only just, though. Fair enough. Good effort. Good effort. Territory's under attack. You know what? You can have it for now. Do we have any... I don't think we do have any of the, canyon duels to do. Don't remember what type of event. I don't know. Presume it would have a special type of name. Possibly. So the sort of canyon duels are where you go... You race down the canyon and it's 2 runs. One you follow, one you lead. If you manage to overtake the vehicle that you are following cleanly and stay ahead for about 10... that... It's downhill. Let's go have a look. Stay ahead for 5 seconds or something, you automatically win, but points are based on how close you are and so on. It's an interesting mechanic. Infuriating at times. Oh no, we are just going to race on the canyon road. Sure, why not? It's an interesting little mechanic. Irritating as anything for some of the more difficult races. But yeah, something a little bit different. You could end up falling off the map. There are barriers. You can push the AI off, so every time you make contact you lose points to penalise crashing. However, if you crash the AI off of the course entirely, then you win, because they'll DNF. You can also, as I found, if you are the lead car, if you make... because the chase car's job is the one to not crash. Oh, okay, if it's an actual race, the barriers are replaced with actual concrete. So here, for example, you would fall off if you went wide, but this mode has replaced them with concrete. Anyway, yeah, if you are the lead car, you could find ways of sneaking it by... If you make the vehicle following crash into you, they lose points. So you can continually crash into them, and they lose points because it's their duty to not crash in, despite the fact you're being the utter muppet. There were many ways to do silly things. It's ways to break it. I was going to say it's not the best made game, and that might be a little bit unfair. It's fun at the end of the day. It also isn't the longest game. I'm 50% of the way into this, and we've spent most of the time... I've done 2 streams on Carbon. I've spent about 6-7 hours on this game, probably. Maybe a little bit more. And a lot of that was farting around with cars. A lot of that hasn't been, oh dear, taking it all too seriously. Well, appreciate that one. I guess I probably deserve that one for mentioning ways to break the game. Oh, now I'm stuck on that. Karma has bit me. Why are those not... I guess we're not going fast enough to move them, but never mind. It's not the longest of games, but it's entertaining. I do believe some of certainly the higher up, the later on duels are a pain in the arse. They are really nasty. There is an element of catch-up. It's not the most egregious Need for Speed I've ever come across, apart from your teammates' cars, who are absurdly rubber bandy. Rubber band is not quite even a strong enough word to describe what your teammate cars can sometimes randomly do in races. Actual AI cars are a bit... I've driven against a lot worse. But your teammate will do silly things. It's not really... It was never really a game, I guess, to be taken seriously. I have had a fair amount of fun, though, going back to it. And I think that is a testament to the game. It's kind of, in some ways, always better than I remember. In a strange sort of way. We've got all of the nitro is not going to be enough to stop us losing that one. Almost ploughed into the group of them. Woolalur did definitely lose that one. Just got it stuck on a wall a little bit. Oh well. And I say there we go. That is some Need for Speed Carbon. I do recommend this one if you perhaps didn't play it. I say quite a few, but at this era there were so many bloody games coming out that I say so many games coming out. There were so many different Need for Speed and sort of similar games. This was, I guess you could say, the golden era for the many different arcade races. We don't have that many these days, and Carbon's one of those that may well have passed you by. For me, it was Most Wanted. I only ever played Most Wanted on a PSP for whatever reason. So yeah, it is possible that Carbon might have been one of those games that did end up passing you by. I would recommend going back to give it a try. You can get a copy for it on 360. It isn't the cheapest of the games. It's cheaper than Most Wanted. Most Wanted still goes for like 20 quid if you want to get a copy of that for 360. It might even be a little bit more these days. So yeah, it is not. This is slightly cheaper than that. I think I paid about 10 quid for my copy. I can't actually remember. It was a little while ago. I bought this one now, but I would recommend it if you didn't get to try it, because it is kind of, it's a fun distraction. It's a fun distraction to go back. You can do some truly... I mean, it's worth it just for doing the truly stupid things to a selection of cars. I haven't got to some of the higher-end vehicles. Really, the DB9 is the most unusual car that I've unlocked that we can do hideous things to. With the muscle cars, when you get them, there is some Corvettes and Vipers and whatnot that you can do chop tops to any muscle car, but you can also do that to the Vipers and the Corvettes that get put in the muscle car category, so you can make them look very silly. Basically, what a game to do silly things to cars. You can make cars look vaguely nice on here, I should add. It is possible to have vehicles look vaguely nice, just I tend not to end up playing that way. If you want a game to mess around with cars, yeah, you can't go wrong with Carbon. There is also a little arcade mode. Just driving past that garbage truck reminded me. There's an arcade mode where you've got to complete a variety of challenges. One of them is involving police chases, where you can drive a garbage truck against the against the police. You have to do like a 4-minute chase and then escape from the police with a garbage truck. I seem to remember like the highest tier one of the police chases is like you've got to do a 10-minute chase or an 8-minute chase with an R34 Skyline. Jesus, that taxi is quite mad with cornering. Yeah, you have like a Skyline for a really, really long chase, and then you have to get away. But by the time you've survived, like I can get away from the police with the wanted level, but trying to keep the chase going for 8 minutes without getting completely overwhelmed was always an interesting challenge. So yeah, that was another fun little distraction. Yeah, it's a decently entertaining game, and I think while the motion blur is a bit silly, it has actually aged better than I expected it to in some ways. So there we go. I hope I have either reignited your interest in playing Carbon, just been a fun trip down memory lane, or maybe you'll want to go and give it a go yourself. Either way, that is go. Or maybe you looked at it and thought, no, that's a pile of crap, I don't want to ever touch it. Fair enough. You know, it's quite silly in places, but I would disagree. There is definite fun to be had. And cars are a bit better to drive than I expected. You can actually drive them sensibly and have some fun racing. That, though, is going to be it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.